Hey everybody, it's Eric again, and this is part 2 of the assembly for the Moser rear end. Hopefully the last part. Getting ready to put the axles in. So we have the seals are in place here. I just put a little bit of grease on there, and I'm going to put the 2 axles in right now. Alright, so first order of business now, we have the backing plates here for the brakes, and then we have the bearing retainers. So bearing retainers go with the edge toward the bearing and the hole facing up, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's correct. The opening facing up. The rear end is kind of pointed down this way, so up is actually at about 10 o'clock for me. So this is going to come up from the bottom here, and this is a real pain that we were fighting with last time, so if we can use a screwdriver or something to help line things up, it really helps. Get a hole lined up there, like so. Get our bearing retainer on there, hopefully. Something like that. Yeah, this is going to be a pain. It was a pain last time we threw this thing together. It's going to be a pain this time. Especially since they want the opening facing up. It wants to fall off. But with that big heavy hogshead on there, we can't exactly turn it the other way. Please hold on to the rear and make sure it doesn't fall off there. Please. Bearing started here. There we go. Like that. Through there. Powder coat. I gotta clean that hole out. Alright, so we're just gonna run a tap through here real quick to clear out the powder coat that got inside the holes here. Just kind of yank it out of there. If you can. I hate this tool. Get out of there. There we go. That should do it. Alright, let's try that again. Caliper to the back. That's better. This is where it gets tricky. Trying to get this guy lined up. Where it'd be helpful to have some more fingers. All right, there's the ratchet.
That stopped, I guess.
We had to use a shallow socket here. what is that, the 9/16? This one. Yep. Alright, see if we can get that guy started. Oh, it's a little harder to turn now. You got it?
Yeah.
I can't even budge it. I have to get that hole lined up. Hopefully we can do it from here. Alright. Let's see if by some miracle we can get this nut started. This is where we put two nuts in at once, so we had to do that. See it. There. Bracket. Still down there? Look like it. So we're just gonna get a nut started on there because we got to put Loctite on these. Got it. Okay. Should be good to hold it in place. I just have to go around and do all the rest of these guys. Okay, I think I've mentioned before that Moser did not ship any instructions to speak of with this thing. These are the 3/8 inch bolts. We put red Loctite on them. They have lock nuts. I really don't think they're going to go anywhere, and we're going to torque them down to 35 foot-pounds. I have no idea if that's the right number or not, but that's what we're going to do. Okay? So just go all the way around like that. Alright, next step is assembling the brakes. You will need for this process lug nuts that actually have the holes all the way through them. I bought some of these for junker lug nuts just to use on the car while we were painting and stuff, and lucky I did because the standard lug nuts would bottom out here. So you just need the lug nut to snug the rotor on so you can get the caliper alignment and all that stuff done. So that's all of that. Alright. So this process going here. Just need a washer, bolt. I'm guessing all these shims are the same here. They don't mention anything about them being different. Looks like they're all the same. Yep. So, I don't believe they have a left hand and a right hand rotor or caliper on these. At least not that I've noticed. That's a good question to see if we put the rotors on the right way this time. I think we did. Yep. Alright. So I need one washer, like so. Bring the caliper that way. So, and then two shims on the inside for starters, like that, and everything falls off, of course. That's going to make things fun. Hold all that in place. Thank you. Shop assistant. Let's try that again, see if I can hold on to everything this time. Oh, this is going to be fun. pull the bolts out of the way just enough without dropping all the shims. So got that one. Oh no, shims. All the shims fell out.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. Get those back in there. Somehow. I need a screwdriver or something. Thanks. Come on. That's not going to be fun. Try and push them in place with the screwdriver here. Like that. Get the bolt to start.
Bolt was into that brass bush.
Yeah.
I thought it went through there. Okay, I got it.
This one's snug here, so hopefully we won't have a stripping problem like we did on the fronts. Alright, so I'm gonna finish that up there. Alright, so once that's installed, you want to check and see, excuse me, if the caliper is centered on the rotor, which I don't believe it is. You see the gap there, gap there. It's a little tighter. So it's a really tight space in there to try and get anything to measure. It's a massive feeler gauge or something, but I stuck a screwdriver in there. So that's with the two shims there. So I think if we take one shim out, I think it'll be good. Alright, so we took the one shim out and everything looks pretty good now. I can also see this silver line here and how it lines up with the inside edge of the rotors there. So I think we're good. Alright, those are all set. So we got one shim on each side. Now we torque it down to 40 foot-pounds. Ready? This is a two-person job unless you got your rear end sitting on the ground. I see. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
Voila.
Onto the brake pads. Alright, there we go. It's done. We're going to put the brake lines and stuff on later. I haven't really figured out what I'm doing with that stuff yet. I'm assuming I want to run to here. The little stud piece that goes in there doesn't fit, but I think it's because it's got powder coat in it again. But so run the soft lines from here to here, and then from there to there, whatever. Figure it out. There'll be more soft lines going to the body or frame, and then the hard lines somewhere down the road. But anyway, this is it. We're ready to drop this baby under the car. Yes! Alright, it is really cramped under here, but I'm going to show you the next problem we ran into. So in the weld process, or the powder coating, or both, this gap is now too tight, so we can't get all of this hardware in here. We struggled with it for a long time and just couldn't get it to work. So finally what we did is got the port of power out and actually bent the tabs. That was not easy to do. Took quite a bit of force, and only moved it about 1/10 of an inch. That's all it needed, but you know, that's a lot. I don't know where that 1/10 of an inch went. And then the other problem, as we had on the rear end housing, everywhere you've got a threaded thing, powder coat screws it up, so you got to clean that out. And I thought I'd be okay just threading this thing through like this, but then when we got it all assembled, we couldn't get it through, and lo and behold, the shank or whatever this is called here won't go through there. So we actually have to drill this thing out to get it through. Threading on this side is okay because it can thread through, but this side we got to get that shank through there. So two things that we had to do. So we spent probably an hour over here before we finally got that together. So hopefully this side goes a little quicker. Okay, so we're testing clearance now. I got the wheels on. I got the rear end cocked about as far as I can get it to go. Try and raise it any higher than that, the car's coming up. There still seems to be a little travel left on the shocks, but the car is coming up every time I jack it up, so I can't really do much more with it. Show you where we are on the wheel. Sorry, it's really cramped over here. So the wheels up in here. Like I said, we've got more compression left on the shocks, but I can't jack it up any more than this with the current weight that's on the car. That's all we can get. But in this state, we're not hitting anything anywhere. That's just the brakes you hear, so we can spin it around. There's no contact being made. The same test on the passenger side. We are making contact with the inner part of the wheel housing right above the frame rail there. Barely, and everything else clears. And this is with no shims or anything in there. So I think it's probably good to go as is, but worst case scenario, I think even just an 1/8 inch shim on there will be enough. And we've got room on these lips here, it looks like. So I'm gonna level it out now and drop the rear end straight up and see what happens with that test. Dun dun dun! What do you think?
I love it.
There we go. It's on the ground again. So that's a big milestone. It's almost 3 years to the day, pretty close, within a week or two of when we got this thing and stuck it up on the rotisserie. So it literally hasn't been on the ground in 3 years. Whew, it is sweet. So there's the ride height in the back. I think that's just gorgeous. I'm real happy with that. I could stand to move a little bit. We have the adjustments on the shocks in the back. We can move it up or down 1 inch probably from where it is. So we'll see how it goes. You know, way down the road, we're not going to mess with that for a while. You need to see what kind of clearances we have in the front before we need to start mucking around with ride height, because you know we need the engine and everything in there to get the front where it's supposed to be. But it's on the ground. It was funny, once we got it all back on the ground, we went and checked the distance between the wheels again, and it was off by almost 1 inch from side to side on the car. We're like, what the heck? But then we realized the front subframe had twisted when we put the car back down on the ground, because I didn't have it all locked down tight there. So we tweaked the subframe a little bit. It's still off by about 1/8 of an inch rotationally, but that's as much as I could get it to move easily. And with that where it is, we get 88.5 inches from the lip of the wheel to the lip of the wheel on both sides of the car. Now the wheels can be twisted a little bit, so that measurement can be off a hair, but not much. We tried to measure hub to hub, but or center to center, but that's kind of hard. This side of the car is 108, which is what it's supposed to be. The other side is close. It's hard to tell. It may be off a 16th or an 1/8 or something. I don't know. You can't really tell, but it doesn't look like it's exactly 108, but awfully close. So we're just going to leave that where it is. There is a little bit of adjustment we can do back here with the lower control arms where the leaf spring mounts go. So we can shimmy that forward and back a little bit, which may be all we need, so that we don't have to muck around with getting adjustable lower trailing arms is actually what Ride Tech called them, or Moser. Lower control arms, lower trailing arms, whatever. So we can adjust that a little bit without having to get adjustable ones, because I'd have to make those basically. But I think we're good. But oh, this thing's low, so I'm holding this camera at my eye height. This thing's way down here, so it's cool. This thing is low. It's pretty awesome. So you put an engine and transmission in there to get the front of the car to come down, but even where it is, it looks awfully tasty. So that was a big effort. Pops and I had to struggle to get all that done, but we got it. So we are going to start slamming body panels on this thing now. Start getting the doors on and all that stuff, get all the gaps lined up as best we can, so I can start contemplating that rear quarter panel back there is next on the list. If anybody out there feels like there's something else that should be done at this point before going to work on the body panels, let me know. I've been staging this the whole way to do that, and nobody's said anything about it thus far, so I think that's okay. But it seems like the right thing to do, get all that going so we can start doing the body work. The firewall and stuff needs to be done. but we have to take the subframe off again to do that, to get underneath and do all this stuff. So I'm going to save that for later, and it's going to have body color on it anyway, so I save that for later when we're closer to painting the car, I think, because then as soon as we're done with it, we can put paint on it, instead of doing it now and leaving it in primer for months and months, years. Anyway, that's it. So we're going to start putting some panels on this dog. Well, what do you think? Looks pretty nice up under there, huh? I like it. Looks really good. So I think, as we said, the tire clearance doesn't seem to be an issue. We got enough room to do what we need to do in there, I think. Worst case scenario, I think put an 1/8 inch spacer on there and we'll call it good. Everything looks awesome under there. The shocks look sweet. I don't know if we can see the tire clearance from here. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see there. That's how much room we got. So it looks good. And we were really busy for the rest of the day. Pull out. Whoa! Look at that. We have a car. Slapped it all back together today. So for the first time in forever, sorry, that sounded like a Frozen piece there. Look at this. We have a car. It actually looks like a car. Is that insane or what? I'm just amazed that we got all this put back together today, all in one day. Awesome. So you can see the ride height in the front here. We're about 1.5 inches up. So that's about the kind of drop we're going to get with the transmission and engine in there. 1.5 inches probably, maybe 2. So I think that is going to be perfect with the ride height in the back. I believe this side of the car is a little beat up, obviously, but this side of the car looks like a complete car over here. All the quarter panels good, got doors, the whole 9 yards. So we just kind of quickly rushed through the front of the car. The back of the car, we did spend some time trying to get the gaps lined up and stuff. And we're in pretty good shape here. Funny story on the door. Hang on here. So here's the driver's side door. So this is the one that was on the car. So we got the door hung, got the gaps reasonably close. They weren't great. And then I came down and looked at this thing, and it's all full of rust down here. And maybe it was that way when I got it. I don't remember there being rust there. There may have been. I took the doors off like the day I got the car, so I don't know. So that could have been rusty. So we put it on there and saw that, and then I had the extra set of doors that I bought off that 77 Camaro. They were chopping up, and I thought that both of the doors were pretty beat up on the shells, so I wasn't really thinking I was going to use them. But then we went back and looked at this one. It's all dirty, I know, but it's actually really straight. The passenger door is a little chewed up. It's got a bunch of dents in it. But the driver's door is actually nice, and these things are pristine. And there's no rust or anything on these. These are just gorgeous. So we took that original door off and put this one on. Now, when I say original, I don't know if either one of the doors are actually the factory doors or not. Probably not. One of them was a different color than the other, so probably not. One of them looked black, I think, and the other was blue. Excuse me. Ugh. Anyway, so we're good. This one's got a busted hinge on it, though. I used the hinges that were on the door. The detent for the detent, whatever, is broken off. So when you open the door, it just makes some god-awful noises. But the bushings and stuff are good, so it stays where it wants. But that piece is busted off or cracked. So anyway. We're all good here. I did have one question for you guys, though. I bought a set of used hinges that were actually off a 78 Trans Am. And when we first put them on, the hood was way the heck up here. You can see it moves up quite a bit. You can mash it down and sort of get it to go where it's supposed to go. But every time you open and close the hood, those things are way too high, and I don't really know what causes that. So if you guys have any input on that, on what to do, let me see if I can crack it open and get it back down here. Like that. So when you open and close the hood, it ends up like this. And I don't know what causes that, if that means the hinges are trash or what. So hopefully you guys can let me know. You can see that side, how far off it is over there. So it does that every time, and like I said, you can come along and give it a nudge and get it to go back down approximately. I don't think it's hitting the bumpers. There's a bumper. No, it's not hitting the bumper. Wouldn't be able to push it down if it was, but anyway, so hopefully you guys have an idea for me there. What else? The gaps on the fenders are a little large. This fender here, the brace that goes along the firewall is hitting the firewall right here, so I can't push it back any further. I have to cut that. These are our new fenders here. These are OERs, I think. So we gotta do some work there. This thing doesn't exactly follow the contour correctly, as you can see, so that might need some work. You can see how big the gap is down there, but the main point of that exercise was to get the door on here. I'm going to play with this gap a little bit more before we call it good, so that I know what to do when I'm working on this quarter panel. It's not bad. The alignment on the door is good this way. I think is the same as the other side of the car. We have a big gap at the back of the rocker and a small gap at the front. So I don't know. Both doors do that. So maybe in this car's drag racing history or something, the rockers are a little tweaked there or something, I don't know. Or the fact that there's no engine in it, I don't know. Maybe that would help too. Perhaps. And Mike is going to take the subframe and push it this way, I guess. Yeah, maybe that would help. Anyway, so that was the purpose of that. So we got to spend some time polishing up this gap to where we're happy. This is so brutalized here, you can't really see where the body lines are, so there's some guesswork there. But get that to where we're happy with it, and then I'm going to tear into this quarter panel. So in the next few days, that's what we're going to be doing here, is tearing into that quarter panel. And for those of you who didn't go far enough back, I did this paint test a long time ago to do this. Roger, Mr. Fireman 164. Sorry, this is dirty as hell, and I don't have your fancy new sun gun, but this is that Ford Tuxedo Black, the same one that you're looking at for your car on the stripes. And you can get there's a lot of dirt in there too, but you can see all the metallic, hopefully. I don't know if it's showing up or not. Try to keep the light out of there. Something like that. So that's a really nice color. I think that's a great choice. I think it's going to look good. And again, for those of you who didn't go far enough back, this car is painted in all Ford colors. So this is Ford Ruby Red. This is Ford, I forget what it's called, the white, platinum white, which is metallic. And the black is the Tuxedo Black. So white's a lot harder to see the metallic in without a sun gun. I don't think you can see it at all. And the red is pretty hard to see too. That's just dirt you're seeing. So anyway, that's why you need a sun gun, as Roger was saying. The fluorescent LED lights and stuff, they just don't show off the metallics. The wrong color temperature, I guess. Anyway, I'm wandering now. I'm just so excited to see this car all back together again. I keep walking out in the garage. I'm like, woo! So exciting. We got the car on the dollies now, so we can roll it around and move it around. But anyway, we're also going to be able to roll the car out into the driveway and wash it. Although, if the water police see me do that in California, I could actually get fined for that, even though I can't exactly take this to a car wash, so I don't really have a choice. But anyway, so yeah, very cool. Yes, I'm a happy camper. All right, everybody. Thanks. We'll be talking to you soon. See ya.